Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this special edition, Key Infinite, regarding 30 keys, 30 tools, 30 advice to be happy. So this is intermediary because it's in between the season 2 and season 3. We did exactly the same in between the key 20 and 21. That's to say the first season and the second season. But actually, obviously, these 30 tools are different from the previous video. It is a kind of amplification to expand our scope and also as a fresh reminder, because what I'm saying to you now, most of you will think, oh, it's quite obvious. And indeed, all what I'm saying always is obvious, is kind of common sense. Okay, so, but the goal is probably for you to visualize and to watch again the first one in between the video, the key 20 and 21, okay? And this one, and you will see, you will have 61, so the goal necessarily is not to apply all of them, but just to choose those who vibrate the most within you, okay? If you apply regularly in your daily life, let's say 15 or 20 is already excellent and very good. But the largest, the better, okay? It means that I try also to expand for people can find those who are more accurate for them, okay? So, and why is so important? First, to be happy. And if I understood properly the sense of life, okay, the meaning of life, the meaningful life, we could consider that we are all on the quest of unity, fulfillment, wellness, all the same, synonyms to say the same thing. And then to share that, of course, to let's say, marvel at life, to marvel at the unity, the living one, whatever, and so on. But globally speaking, is always for that. What do we aspire, okay, in a couple, in your job, and so on? When you do something, is to be happy, basically. I know it's not necessarily very popular, and a lot of people think it's a little bit naive, or, but actually this is the most important existential things regarding spirituality. Aliens, going out of your body and so on. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, why not? But actually, what's the goal? To outsource that. Is not more important to inner gazing and just to reach the unity? This is a question mark. Actually, this is not so popular, despite the fact it is for me existential. And also it is a milestone, very essential aspect of the eternal inner journey of awakening, which is endless, by the way. Why? Because the fact to be happy is not, let's say, is not shallow at all. It's just honoring life, marveling at life, the living. And this is also a spiritual approach. This is the holistic approach. This is the holy style of life. Holy, H-O-L-Y. Okay, if you perceive what I try to tell you. And actually, it allows you to rise your vibration, your frequency, and your energies. Everything is energy. This is energy. The plant is energy. This is energy. I am full of atoms and energy. As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequencies. Einstein said differently, there is no matter. What we call matter is only vibration for which the density has been highly reduced. There is no matter. Okay? It doesn't matter, right? So it is really important. We are purely vibration. So according to you, the fact to feel happy, you can shape your life according to your philosophy. Okay? As we saw, Buddha said, it's a cultural reference, we are what we think and we attract what we feel. Okay, so this is common sense. Everything is linked to that. This is for me really paramount. This is existential, essential. All right, so let's try to go straight to the point. So first key, first tool is to try a new activity, okay, to break your routine and to do something that you like and you never dare. It can be very sensational things like, I don't know, parasailing, whatever, or jumping from a plane and so on. It can be anything, but it can be also very simple things. Can be, I don't know, cooking or having a class to play, I don't know, drums. It can be crazy things and also little tiny things, like you like to sing and you don't sing properly. I mean, not very good, okay? It doesn't matter. The goal of this first key is not the performance. We are in a society for which we always want to perform, to reach a record, to have a reward, and so on. But we can just enjoy with a simple pleasure of singing. That's it. Or I don't know, or dancing, even if you are very, rigid because you are not really stretched and so on. It doesn't matter. This is exactly referring to the key we saw for ecstatic dance, trance and dance. It doesn't matter the aesthetical aspect as long as you like it. We don't care. He's sing badly in a quota mark. He have fun with his friend in karaoke, in KTV and so on. It's not a big deal, you know. As long this is important key for being out of the judgments, the critical dimension of other people, and just to think about the inner pleasure at first. Second advice is to visualize a normal element from nature and to marvel at it. Okay, so concretely, it is to reactivate the inner child. It can be anything. This plant, this flower, which is just gorgeous, beautiful. The way of the tree is like, for me, a poem. This is really, there is, and just to try to marvel, there is palms, how big they are, or a flower, how blossoming it is, or it can be anything. The sun, why is so perfectly adjust in tune, not too far we would be let's say frozen, and not too close we would be burned, and so on. How it's holding in the sky, the gravity and so on. This is just crazy. And when you observe and to marvel at little tiny things, you activate a kind of pleasure of life, of magnificence, and you are in this position of gratitude, basically. Try to do as well, third key, with common things from your routine, from the system, from human beings, okay? It can be anything, okay? It can be a lift, okay? You just press on the button and then you go up. It's amazing. Or you take your car, you just you drive. It's magic. A plane. I'm always wondering how it's possible that such a big, let's say, a giant so heavy can fly with such a load. It's tons and tons. How it's possible? Or technology, okay? I'm always saying that technology is like a knife, you can use for killing or you can use for cutting or arts and craft and so on and so forth. So depending on the user and the using as well. So technology is just a miracle, okay? Internet, the fact there is a cloud, the fact that you can have access and discuss with people from 12 or 15,000 kilometers, it's crazy. A GPS, the fact that at the the proper time, on real time, you are indicated, you have the roots and so on. It's just crazy in a certain extent. And when you start to admire that, life becomes just, because you're more in peace with the mankind, because you can be grateful for that, okay? You know, for instance, here near, I'm living in Bali, in the village, and we don't have proper roads. I mean, the real asphalt is 500 meters from here. So when I take my scooter, for example, and if there is a car in front of me on another scooter, it's full of dust. There is a lot of, holes and so on. When my wife was pregnant, of course, you have to pay attention and so on. When you reach the real road, and there is still some, let's say, some holes sometimes, but it's so pleasant. Okay, so even the basic things like this that we say, oh, it's normality. No, it's not normality. The proof is that in most of Western countries, there are some proper motorway and so on, but many countries in the world, there is not. So it's not a normality. And this is to invite you to be more peaceful and to be more grateful with the mankind, in the sense that if tomorrow you are on a remote island, are you able to recreate everything? Even a simple glass, okay? Or even a bed, or whatever. You're not able, you're not capable. Nobody is. I'm not able at all to do anything. Einstein, the greatest scientist, Elon Musk, we don't like, is not the question, but apparently brilliant and smart, is not able to recreate anything from scratch, okay? So we are mutually depending on each other. This is really important, to be grateful for that and to know it. Fourth is to visualize something which is part of your routine and to try to break this routine for a while. You know, most of the time when you lose someone, your boyfriend left you or someone passed away, you just realize how this person was important. So it's the same principle. No need necessarily to lose someone, something and so on, just to realize how something is good. When you are sick, you realize how good was your health, okay? It's the same principle, so, but it can be basic. For example, stop to breath. Apnea. How gorgeous it is to inhale or to exhale. So basically, when you analyze that you inhale and exhale all the day long, you can have a pleasure just for that, basically. Or it can be for very, very simple things. Personally, I'm fasting every day. So intermittent fasting, it means only 1 meal per day. When you do a fasting, you enjoy all types of food, okay? Even what you don't really like normally, okay? So it's not a normality to have a meal. A lot of people in the world, unfortunately, don't eat normally, okay? So to be grateful only for that. It can be grateful when you go to bed and you have a very, let's say, cozy mattress, okay? How good it is. And you then think, when you're in a plane, you know, in economic class, okay, so you are like this, you're full of pain after 12 hours of a flight and so on. So you can think about this, oh, it's so good, I can stretch and it's comfortable and so on. Be grateful just for that and be happy of this little tiny thing. A shower, hot shower when you're cold, when it's cold outside the winter, or a very cold shower when you're very hot because you went to rent and here is always 30 degrees. How joyful it is when I go for a cold shower and so on. Air conditioning is so good when it's very hot and humid outside. Same and the contrary, the heater when it's cold outside and so on. And you can be grateful for everything actually. I invite you also in the technique 5 is to have a good sexual activity, okay? Personal or with your partner, okay? This is not, I know it's a taboo, okay, yes. Actually, it is taboo, but in a certain extent, it shouldn't be. We are coming from there. Huh? Why being ashamed to say, yes, I love sex. I love making love. But yeah, it's like if I say to you, oh, I hate eating. Well, eating is life. I love to eat the taste bud exploding and so on. It's the same for love. When you make love and so on, you are losing control and so on. It's a balance and this good mix of wide sensuality, poem, strong and so on. It's up to everybody, of course, but it's a mix-up. And actually, it can be spiritual. The Tantrism, we will see that for the key, the last key will be 59 for sexuality and also love for couple and so on. But concretely, this is really, really essential. And even privately, there is, I'm sorry to say that, but there is no shame to masturbate. It's also activate a good fluidity of the energy. If the water is stagnating, okay, after a while, it's full of bacteria and so on, okay? It's the same principle. When we say, he or she is frustrated, okay, like because no sexual activity, because she or he doesn't masturbate, okay, because he has not the chance to have a partner and so on. But you feel it. But when you have a sexual activity, this is the chi, the fifth elements, the ether, the quintessence, the fifth elements, that's to say the prana for Hindus, the chi, qigong for the Chinese, the key of the Reiki and so on. The fifth elements is transcendental. And when you have a good sexual activity, it means that you liberate this fundamental kundalini serpent or dragon and so on. And you are balanced. And by the way, you can see some people, they are very hungry all the time. They have sexual activity. They feel, let's say, released, because it brings you endorphins, oxytocin, hormones of happiness, and also it liberates some stimulation of compensation, DMT and so on. So it's a kind of drug. That's why some people are sex addicts. So the goal is not that, it's to have a good balance, but to accept and not to be ashamed to say, yes, I masturbate, or yes, I love making love to my wife or to my husband, or I love to make love in general. There is no taboo for that. It's honoring the living one, God, in a certain extent. You know, in the very good book from Niels Walsh, Daniel Niels Walsh, Conversation with God, there is a passage, God express himself, itself, ourself, whatever, saying, but I am in all the beds and I'm making love with you. And this is so beautiful. It's not exactly the sentences, huh? But this is the essence, the idea. And it's so beautiful and so true. So no need to hide. You like the costume. You like, I don't know, to play with a scenario. That's fun. It can be fun, it can be tender, it can be beautiful, sensual, it can be animal, it can be good fuck. It can be everything is when, as long as it is respectful for the partner and so on. But this is a wellness as well, and it brings you also happiness and fullness and fulfillment and so on and so forth. 6, not sex, bad joke, even humor is essential for happiness. Humor is a part of spirituality. The laughing Buddha, ha ha ha. Jesus, Muhammad, all of them, Krishna, all of them, they have a sense of humor. This is so boring, you know, library people, you know, like always they know a lot of things. And, oh no, it's serious, spirituality is serious. Yeah, life is a big joke also, huh? In a certain extent. Okay, so 6, try to list 20 action, the greatest action you had during your life, okay, with a notion of self achievement, self accomplishments, okay, for which you visualize that you did many good things. So it will allows you to stimulate your positive aspect. You know, it's like when you look at a picture for a ceremony, for a diploma, for, I don't know, whatever, for a birthday, and you say, oh, it was so nice. And just the fact to see it, you are in this mood, like music for, you know, I don't know, music you had an affair, or a love at first sight for summer, I don't know, whatever the year, is the same principle. So when you read this list of 20 positive action and you feel great, it will make you in this mood, in this position, in this state of mind of positiveness and self-accomplishment. So it will rise your vibration. 7, try to set up a list of 50 different people amongst your environments, friends, colleagues, family, and so on, who brought you something positive, negative, but thanks to them, even if it has been difficult, hardship, you experienced life and you improved yourself with a resilience dimension. Okay, so 50 is a lot. If it's 42, 43, it's not big deal, but a maximum 50, it takes quite a long time. Maybe you will spend 1 week, whatever, but just try to do this, okay? To see what's the impact of other people amongst your environments. Another key 8, try to do exactly the same with 50 people famous that you don't know, let's say privately, intellectual, writers, whatever, and who influence you positively. And so, for example, Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian writer, Elif Shafak, Turkish, that I love. Who else impact me? Deepak Chopra, maybe Amin Malouf, French writer, Lebanese French writers. Who else? Walsh, Conversation with God, Eckhart Tolle, on this kind of people who really brought me in general in life, okay, positively, and others, some people negatively, okay, but just they brought you something, okay, and even negatively, it means that they remind you, I mean, to know what you are, you need to know what you are not, okay, this is duality, and also the fact to give birth to your true self through the experience of the contrary of what you are, your counter example. 9, key 9, to stay alone. This is really important, to have this routine, these habits, sometimes, some moments, half an hour a day, half an hour a week, I don't know, 1 hour, and it is only for yourself. You're not in, you know, the movement and the rushing, running, and so on. No, you're just with yourself, because the society, the modern society, we are always stimulated with pop-ups, notification, everything. You know, in the book, the Marvel World, if I'm correct, they explain, they depict places, rooms for which there is screens, okay, so screen everywhere, and like this your attention is attracted. You all had this experience when you go to restaurants and there is a TV set. I hate that. I don't like it at all. Even if I'm completely concentrated with my partner or my friends and I'm absorbed by what we are saying, systematically my eyes are attracted by the movements of the images. So try to switch off sometimes, okay? And also just to appreciate, to be with yourself. This is important. Once you clean up all your trauma, you replace the ego at its own proper place, seat. This is good to appreciate yourself and to appreciate the fact to be alone sometimes. And it doesn't mean that you are detached and it's like a phenomenon of autism. Is not this at all, because the more you do that, the more you're socialized. Sorry. So this is really important. Also, another key, okay, which is to stay, so key 10, to stay silent, okay, sometimes. This is beautiful. There is water, maybe a bird sometimes and so on, but it's not pure silence, okay? By the way, in Shanghai, I remember there is a machine in a park, even if it was supposed to be silent, there is decibel like 20, 30 systematically. So there is always a buzz, okay? But it is natural buzz and it's beautiful as well, okay? But to be silent, there is a Tibetan and Sufi proverb saying, if what you have to say is not more beautiful than silence, so don't say, okay? So refrain, by the way. What does it mean? It means this is beautiful, the silence sometimes, because it brings you calmness. It's the fact to be alone. Silence in nature, for example, you align yourself, okay, horizontally with the materiality and vertically with your higher self, and also the presence, the living one, and so on, and you can feel this cosmic breath, okay, of the living one, and it stimulates your sensitivity, your senses, your 5 senses, okay, plus your 6 senses. So you're more aware, okay? You enlarge your consciousness and you're more aware of the synchronicities and so on, okay? I see, by the way, I'm saying that and I see 2 beautiful butterfly at the same time, the butterfly effect. So, you know, kind of signs like this. You cannot see, you cannot see if it's true or not. Of course it's true. But you know, it is really like this, to be alone and not always rushing at being with people and doing things and so on. This is really important. 11, key 11, try to release and to separate, to throw away or to give to charity and so on. Let's say things, objects and so on that you don't use anymore. Is minimalism. Okay, the goal is like the principle of feng shui. Feng shui in Chinese means literally feng is the wind and shui is water. Okay, so it's the current of energy. So it's more for homeware and so on. That's the way you adjust your decoration, your furniture and so on. You let the qi, the energy of life and so on, flowing naturally, yeah. But the fact also not to have too much things. So many people have just a room for unused things. Give away. I mean, give to some people, they will use it. Personally, we did that 4 years ago with my partner. And I'm working initially in textile clothes, fashion clothes, and the fashion industry. So necessarily, I have lots of clothes, and I had a lot of clothes. I just realized that I have the equivalent for changing myself almost every day. Okay, I exaggerate, but roughly. So what we did, we just check, okay, for over 6 months or 1 year, did I wear that or not? Yes, no, no, okay. Then you select, and then we gave to a charity association, and after that we only had 2 luggage, each one, 2 luggage, so four luggage, okay, is almost nothing. And it doesn't mean that I'm a cartoon and I'm always wearing the same that Dragon Ball Z or whatever, you understand? It's just, do we need to change every day during the whole year? I don't think so. If you like, you have, let's say, love at first sight, you love this shirt, okay, you can. But one in, one out, you can give also. It's not for the pleasure, it's to send a message to your unconsciousness. You feel more, I mean, lighter. You feel light, less heavy with many things and so on. And minimalism, and in addition of that, you give to people, it will be useful for them. They can resell it, or if you want, you can sell them like this. You can buy things, you can buy an instrument of music and playing a new activity and so on. So everything is entangled and linked, by the way. But this is important also to send this idea of reducing your consumption. We are in hyper consumption. We are linking the notion of ownership to happiness and pleasure. And by the way, this is something, the notion of this and the notion of being silent, being alone, actually, and this is linked to the notion, the separation. We are in a society of pleasure. Pleasure, happiness is different. Happiness is linked to wellness, fulfillment, oneness, okay, unity, okay. This is inner fulfillment, inner wellness. Concretely, you're happy and you're not depending on outside. This is the inward dimension. Pleasure is outward dimension. What does it mean? It means it depends on having more friends, more love, more money, more, like bulimia. Okay, you don't reach satiety. You don't feel you don't have enough, so you want always more, and you depend on other people. It's like eating candy cotton. Okay, during a while, 1 hour, you are full, but you have no nutritional intakes. Fulfillment is inner. It would be comparable to eating good food, like energetic food, like vegetables, fruits, and so on. With that, you have energy to do a lot of things. You don't feel tired and exhausted and so on. So it's exactly the same principle. One is inward happiness, or let's say fulfillment, wellness, and the other one is pleasure. And unfortunately, we make the confusion in this society of pleasure to always need more and more and more. And we are invited also to revise our way of behaving, expecting, and so on, in the notion of the philosophy that happiness is not necessarily to get what you want, but to be satisfied with what you have. And you reduce your needs. If you have less needs, you're not crying because you don't have the, I don't know, the smartphone 15.0, I don't know, doing a microwave and scanner or whatever. I exaggerate, but it's a little bit that. Some people are like this. And it's, to a certain extent, is a little bit sad. Anyway, just to try to, the key 12, try to talk to someone in conflicts. Even if there is an aggression, you know, it's the principle of Jesus giving the second part. This is not just for the pleasure to receive a second punch or snap. It is just to show another face, another image, so it's more subtle. It is like, okay, you're right. May I ask you your opinion, your suggestion, what you recommend me? You see? And this is going to destabilize the aggressivity. It's like someone want to punch you and you go backwards, okay? This person will be destabilized. And actually it's in a positive way. So try to be neutral, or at least consensual, for when you have someone. And the more you do this, the less you are angry. Because you just realize this is piece of theater, and everybody is playing a role as an actor and so on. And as you will have no more, there's not no more emotions, but you will have fun of that, because you will be more detached and more committed at the end in the process of life. So I invite you to do the test a maximum of time. Key 13 repeats the affirmation, I mean the sentence, I am what I am. So I precise, it doesn't mean I am an asshole, sorry. I have a bad, let's say I'm moody and so on. I have bad character and I don't make any effort. I am what I am. It's not that. Huh? It is the true I am, your higher self, your divine part that you activate and you want to activate, you want to stimulate, you want to be aligned and to be reconnected to this natural trend. It means this is when the ego is stabilized at this own place of vehicle, okay? You don't DFI your car, it's just a vehicle to go somewhere. You can appreciate your car, you like it, you clean up. Same for your ego. But the ego, most of the time, is a kind of cell, okay? Cell, ego, age got out in a certain extent. So either is a cell, a prison, for which we give existence to the walls, to separate duality, to fragment existence, to exist, literally, it means to separate. So to fragment from the great wall, okay, God, whatever the name, the source, the unity, cell, or it can be perceived as a cell of a gigantic body that we call life, okay, the living one. So you are part of it or you're out. So concretely, when this is the true I am, okay, and this is exactly what Jesus said in the Bible when he explained before Abraham was, I am. Abraham was in Sumeria in Mesopotamia 3,000 years before Jesus Christ. So this is not belonging. The I am is not. This is the Christ dimension. And precision, I already talked about that. It is not belonging this is to Jesus. This is not ownership of Jesus. Christ, Christos, okay, Christ, crystal in Greek, it's the purest material. Krishna comes from there. It's 500 years before Jesus Christ. It's the same principle. Buddha means awaken, is the same principle. He clean up, he take it out, the old negativity, and is pure as the crystal, allowing to let the divinity, the real light, the nur in Arabic means the divine light, aur in Hebrew, and so on, is the same principle. It's like when you clean up, and you let passing through you the divine lights. This is the principle of Reiki. Reiki, what is it? You activate the key, but the key to open up the door. Concretely, you just have to let it go. You don't emit anything. You just let the light, the divine light, the fifth elements, the key, the chi, the ether, prana, and so on, through you. And you receive also the intakes. And the person receive also the intakes. Okay, so it's both, but you don't emit anything. You just let passing through you. This is the principle of the word enthusiastic. Enthusiastic in Greek, I repeat it many times at the beginning of the first lessons, the first keys. This means literally crossed by God or divinity. It is exactly that, actually, the true I am. So repeat, I am what I am. You activate your higher self to take the space which is his, concretely, as long as you want. But the true self is a divinity that you have. When you are, I am not. When you are, when I am, you are not. When you are, I am not. Okay, what does it mean? Ego versus, in quotation mark, divinity. Unity. Y-O-U. Unity. When you are making oneness with God, the living, and your divinity is the same. Okay? But when you let space for that. Key 14. Think collectively and use a maximum of time we. Okay? If you see, by the way, me, and you return we. Okay? Yes, we can. We. What does it mean? It means concretely, collectively, we have that dimension when you have a family and you want to buy, for example, you're a father, you want to buy a video game, but you don't have enough money and you have to make a choice. And finally, you prefer to bring the kids for a weekend or an entertainment amusement park, for instance, and you think globally because you think it will be better for the kids, they will be happy and so on, your wife will be happy, and it's better. It's in the collective interests. and instead of your personal interests. Saying a maximum of time we allows to show that everything is collective. We say regularly, beyond a great man working also for woman, there is systematically a great woman. In the darkness, what does it mean? Highlighting the light of the man. Same for the woman. There is a collective, some friends, and so on, helping you, your family, supporting you, and so on. So there is not really individuality for anything. Okay, even if this is individual sport, there is the staff, the coach, the family supporting, and so on. So it's never completely, let's say, individual. So, but the fact to use a maximum of time one, okay, or we, is sending this message of collective vision. And actually, this is, you know, there is in Sufism, there is a legend saying Satan, the devil, meets someone. He say to him, if you want to look like me, repeat a maximum of times I, like I am, okay? What does it mean? It means that you are limiting through your ego, edge God out. The fragmentation from the whole, from the great wall, that's to say, not the great wall W-A-L-L, no, the great wall W-H-O-L, of course, okay? I hope you understand what I mean. Key 15, try to be a projector of consciousness. What does it mean? I use this also for mindfulness. It is like you imagine that when you talk to someone, you project some lights, okay, subtle lights, that's to say divine light. It gives attention to someone, you are more attentive, and you are more in the mindfulness. And the person will not necessarily feel it, but there will be a result, a positive results, and is rise your vibration as well. Key 16, try to avoid to judge too much, to criticize all the time. In French we say criticizing is easy, art is difficult. Because it's so easy to have a big mouth, it's not good, you did that wrong, then okay, what's your solution? What's your great idea? Oh, I don't know. Most of the time, 95% of the time, people have a big mouth, but they have no ideas. So if what you have to say is more beautiful than the silence, refrain. Okay, so, but the fact to critical doesn't, in Greek, crisis means to sort out, to select. It doesn't mean necessarily negatively, it can be positively. A constructive criticize is possible. When you say, nicely, gently to someone, you say, maybe it's not so good for this, you could improve by this way, and so on. This is practical, and not instead of saying, this is bullshit, this is shit, this wrong. Okay, fine, what's true though? And so on and so forth. This is important. Then try to avoid the bad words like fuck, shit, well, you know all of them. Decrease your vibration. You know the power of the water and intention with Masaru Emoto tests. You take 2 rice or water and you just express positively, positive things like I love you and so on. And even if you say I love you, it doesn't work. It's just the intention. So let's say it will be beautiful crystals, okay, like harmonious shapes, patterns. But on the other way one, if you say, fuck you, motherfucker, I say properly, it will be disharmonious. So you can imagine the more you say, fuck, what the hell, and so on, you activate the water of your body. 70% of your body, 80% is made of water. So it's vibrating through that. So when you meet someone after that and you say fuck, 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 fuck all the time, you have these habits, bad habits, people feel this. It's like stimulus, it's like magnetism, and you reduce your vibration. So on the other way around, key 18 is the fact to repeat a maximum of time, I love you. I love you inside. You. It means it's not hashtag I love myself. I take a selfie, selfish all the time, and it's like a egotic dimension. No, it's just I appreciate myself. If I don't like things from myself, I change myself. I train myself. I do coaching and so on. There is many ways. I have a therapist and so on. Why not? But I appreciate my life, what I am, what I received, and so on. And I can also being in a process of improvements. But it's important to appreciate yourself. This is one of the first steps of the awakening and to radiate with people. Sometimes we say, oh, she or he is not necessarily handsome or pretty, but I don't know, she's radiating, literally, okay? So, and sometimes some models and so on, they are like this, and you don't feel very well. Why? Because they are full of conflict, full of darkness and so on. So it's question of energy all the time. Repeat a maximum of time. So I love you for yourself, and I love you for people, not necessarily orally, you can say just in your mind, just for other people. And it can be also for people that you don't really appreciate, but thank you for showing me what I am not, as a counterexample. But I love you can be also, in general, is like love. The word love is important. For example, or thank you, but when I go to nature every day, 1 hour minimum, and when I see this, I love him. I really, literally love this beautiful flower, this plant, and so on. I like the texture. I love the flower and so on. When I'm out, I embrace, I hug the trees very often, almost every day. I kiss the flowers. Sometimes I just spend the time to caress a cat on the street or a dog and so on, and I say to them, I love you, and I really want to kiss them and to, and this is sending a real, very, very powerful message to the world, to the universe within you, and this you vibrate, you accelerate your process of rising your vibration and the process of eternal, endless awakening. Try to do anonymously, some donation, so you are not observed. Okay, for Christian or in Islam and in general, zakat in Islam is when you do a donation, and it's badly perceived if you want to show off. Okay, like giving some money to association, charity, and so on. Like this, you think that your stock option of your company will increase is absolutely not that. It's just to be discreet, to be humble, and to do really as much as you can. Then, very important is to pay attention to the positiveness of something, okay, an action and so on. Even if it has been difficult, it has been hardship and so on. Of course, not extreme like rape and so on. No, I'm not talking about that. I've been fired when I was 30 years old. I embrace that. I'm grateful for this experience. Thanks to that, boom, it destroyed a little bit the ego. I was 30 years old. And also it allowed me to bounce back on what I was supposed to do. Okay, it was a great opportunity. Maybe I would have stayed a long time in this company and so on. I never have done my dream of life. I don't know, going to Asia and so on. Try to appreciate far niente. What is it? Is the fact not to do anything. It's an art not to do anything, just to admire, to contemplate, literally to open up the inner temple of life, to admire, just to marvel at life, just to feel the presence of the living one, the living, okay? It will allow you to be more connected to the great wall. I invite you, key 23, to appreciate a negative criticize. Okay, what does it mean? It means that, okay, it's hard to swallow, it's hard to accept, but sometimes someone say to you, so it affects your ego, and you say to yourself, he's right, she's right. Actually, I've been bad for that. I've been bad at that. I did wrong, and so on. And just to appreciate the fact that thanks to this remark, okay, you improve yourself. This is also rising your vibration and sending a message that you are in a resilience process of improvement. Ask from some help from the guides, from your ancestors, from God, from whatever the name, and to have a solution sometimes. When you are angry, when you have enough and so on, just help me, please help me. And you will have this. And you will, same, rise your vibration in this sense. It's human to have enough sometimes, to feel tired and to have, like we give mutually the baton, like for the athletes. This is the same principle, but sometimes it's possible to ask, please help me, okay? And precisely you ask what you want. You can ask to sponge as well your hungriness as well. This is also an important thing. I invite you as well, to, key 25 is not association, but to have sometimes, like what we call gris-gris. What does it mean? It means like a kind of magic stuff for you. It's magic only for you, like a stone, a crystal. I have systematically a flower of life with me. I draw it every morning. I visualize like a fractal holographic, so increasing, reducing in 3D and so on. I like it. Some people, they have a cruise. Some people, they have the Fatima hand for Muslim, or just the eye to protect. But it protects you because you put energy and intention of it. This is the point, actually. This is important to remember that. Repeat also a mantra, a sentence, a word that you like, okay? Putting you in a good vibration. I feel good. Can be anything, okay? Thank you. Whatever, okay? This is just for being in a process of a mantra. Can be, I love the word harmony, or it can be anything. As long as you like it, it will stimulate good energy, good vibration within you. Try to wear for gala, a ceremony, even if you don't go out, just for yourself. It's just for a pleasure to be handsome or pretty just for yourself. Some men, especially, they think that sometimes their wife and so on go outside and they just make up and so on, and just to attract. Not necessarily. It's just for themselves. It's good to, personally, I like to shape properly and so on, even if I don't go out, even if I don't see people. I just feel better like this. And it's important message that you send to your unconsciousness saying, okay, and I just do for myself. I put my tie, if you have, I make up properly and so on. Not necessarily to take pictures, okay, just for you. It's really for stimulates the rituals that you do for yourself, only for yourself, not for the reward, for the regard, the perception of other people and so on. Key 28, I invite you to set up, a list of what you don't like for yourself and for the society. Okay, so concretely, this is so for yourself, okay, and for the society, and then you burn it, okay. It will discharge. It doesn't mean that it will solve the problems, but at least it will discharge your dependence, your energy towards them. You will be more peaceful. Then, second aspect, and this is the key 29, is to write, to set up the solutions, and also ideally what you would like, what you expect, okay? If you don't like your character, change, clean up, okay? If you don't like the society, vote, establish association, charity dimension, be the change that you want to see in the world, and so on. This is exactly what is depicted in the book, which is for free, that you can download from my website, or I will put the reference, which is Sage Passage, okay, Utopia. There is this all keys. There is, by the way, 65 keys to be happy. And also, it is depict an ideal society, civilization, for which maybe we can inspire, I don't know, but just for fun. But do this exercise by your own, because it is for yourself, for the world, but also for at your scale, means your community, your family, and yourself personally. And last, which is maybe less conventional, but it's really up to anybody, is just to repeat a maximum of time the name of God, whatever the name, God, Allah, Yahweh, no name, Brahma, and so on. It's just a question of translation, okay? Name or no name is the same. It's just the energy that you stimulate. If you repeat it, that's why there is a prayer for Muslim, repeating the 99 names of God, because it stimulates El-Nur and so on. It stimulates the activity. When you say for Buddhism or even in Hinduism, what does it mean? A-U-M. It is creation, maintenance, and destruction, is Vishnu and so on. Is the triptych. And the all is Brahma. So Aum is a reference to Brahma, the unique God, the unicity, unity. So anyway, it's activating that within you, and it is just as frequencies and so on. Once again, I told you, everything is frequencies, energy, and so on. And we are here just to enlarge and to rise our vibration, which is a milestone, a very important step in the eternal path of awakening. Well, I invite you to meditate on that, take notes, try to maybe watch a previous video in between 20 and 21, video the key 2021, and try to put in practice, as we say in English, practice makes perfect. Otherwise, it's just literature, it's just culture, it's beautiful, but it's useless. Okay? So I invite you to meditate, to put in practice, to implement, and also this is only one key for you to shape your master key, to open up the door of the consciousness of what you want concretely. And also, as you know, all the roads lead to Rome, and to home, and to the Dome. Thank you for your attention, and see you very soon.